All right. So everyone, today we'll be going through this very interesting and very wonderful topic regarding employer branding and talent attraction. And like all our sessions, I would request that it should be very interactive. And the mode of interaction that we usually use is through the chat box. So even if the public chat is not open, you can always respond to me. You can always send me questions, queries, comments through individual chats. And I love to read them honestly because it shows that you are taking a genuine interest in what we are talking about. I mean, let us start with a quick question. Since all of you, most of you, not if not all, most of you are looking forward to either join a profession or are already working in an organization, uh, just think about this question that uh, what one thing would you want from your employer when it comes to joining an organization? I mean, if you want to join a certain organization, what one thing would you be looking for in that company, in that organization? What would be that one top factor that would appeal you to apply in that organization and start working there? You can use the chat box and give me the response for that because that is going to be very helpful. Think about that one thing that you would want your employer to have that is going to attract you, that is going to make you feel motivated to apply in that organization and start working there. I'm yet to get a response in the chat box, so I'm not sure whether you have the access to. Let me send a message here. Hi, hello. So if you're able
Yes,
to see my messages, yeah.
yes.
All right.
Personally,
So we,
personally, I would like to see a company that's willing to triple my salary.
wow.
I would
Wow.
like a vault of money ready for me.
Dr. Welkin, this is like the ultimate dream of every employee who wants to join
Yes.
an organization, and rightly so. But but since our HR, all right, we are receiving responses now. Good reputation of the organization. All right, that's a wonderful response. I mean, the organization providing multiple opportunities to grow, and with growth, obviously, comes money. So, if you are lucky to be finding a position in an organization that gives you a properly well structured career track, then obviously it can lead to a lot of money as well and a lot of growth. So the answers are coming. Great ambition is one answer. Salary is another answer. All right, good answers. Fine. Employer branding is a very interesting concept, and it is obviously from the field of HRM. I mean, you may have heard about product branding in general. I mean, whenever you go in the market or whenever you get an ad on your mobile phone or whenever you see an ad, there is some company promoting a certain product, and with their image, with their impression, with their product line, they come with a brand image, a reputation that comes with them. I'll share a few brand names with you and let's see how you respond to them. uh, Obviously we have heard about Apple, the mobile phone production company, Microsoft, Pepsi, McDonald's, Southwest Airlines, Walmart. I mean, probably, probably there may be a chance that you may not have interacted with them directly, but after hearing these names, you come up with some impression regarding them. I mean, as a customer, obviously those perceptions are made because they are continuously working on their branding to attract more customers. What we are doing in terms of HRM and in terms of employer branding, that we are just like doing it the same thing in another manner. We are branding the organizations. We are trying to develop a brand of the employer in a way that it is able to attract the top talent from the market. Uh, I mean, there is always a struggle between employment opportunities and the employees or the labor market. Uh, Sometimes there are organizations which would want to like go for mass employment, and they do not really look for the top talent. But the companies who are able to reach to the top, like Google, like Zappos, they spend a lot of time in finding the right person for the right job, which is obviously the main core or crux of recruitment and selection or talent acquisition, because the companies would want to reach out to the top talent. You know, I was going through a story of a manager who got job in Google, senior manager level position. She was mentioning that I had to go through 18 interviews over the time of 1 year until I finally got the job offer. And those 18 interviews were from employers from different continents. I mean, obviously, they all were working in the Google. Google is since present worldwide. So she mentioned that she had to go through 18 extensive interviews before she was actually hired for the job. Now, what does this show? This shows that the companies like Google, they are very keen on investing their time and effort on finding the right person for the right job. And why is it important? Just think about it, that why is it important? Why not go for the top talent that you have and then take a risk, get them on board? That risk would be damaging the company in ways that one cannot imagine. Because when people come on board and if they are not a suitable fit for the organization, they are not the right person for the right jobs. I mean, getting rid of them and finding new people, that is a very long and complicated procedure with legal implications as well. Because you can't obviously hire and fire people as per your will. There are some legal obligations of those things as well. Let me share another example with you before we proceed. There is a company called as Zappos. I would want you guys to look into it. Zappos, Zappos. It's an online shoe seller company with a very interesting story, and it's like it has worked a lot in terms of developing its overall branding, both customer branding and employer branding as well. Now, what this company claims is that whenever we take someone on board, by taking someone on board, we mean that when we hire somebody, we give them a couple of months, and after a couple of the months, we reach out to them and we offer them $2,000 to quit their job. I mean, once we take somebody on board, once we hire somebody, we wait for a couple of months and then we give them an incentive that if you want to leave the job, we are going to pay you. We are going to give you money. Why do you think this happens? What is the core philosophy behind this strategy? I mean, if anyone can come up with an answer, you can always use the chat box and share this response with me. Why would a company give an incentive to the newly inducted employees to leave the organization and pay them money? That if they want to leave, the company is willing to pay them money as well. What could be the possible reason or logic behind it? This is the crux of employer branding and talent attraction. That is why I'm asking this question. If any one of you is been able to come up with an answer, you can always raise your hand so that at least I know that you have an answer. Otherwise, I'll give it myself, no problem. So why does the company do this? The company, all right, we have a hand raise. So wonderful. It means that you know. You know what the company does? It says that if you're not a suitable fit for the organization, if you're not a suitable fit for the, yeah, not to avoid lawsuits, no. I mean, their logic is that if you're not a suitable fit for the organization, if you are not able to continue in this organization, there is nothing bad or nothing to be worried about. We are going to pay you. We are going to give you money so that you find it motivating to leave rather than staying and damaging us more. You know, because the companies like Zappo has a very unique set of culture, very unique set of core values, and a very different working environment where you can bring pets to work. You have your own office space and you can decorate it. There are flexible working hours. I mean, so many wonderful things. So if somebody joins that organization and he or she finds it out that they are not a suitable fit for that organization, They're not able to adjust in the culture of Zappos. So they should not like wait for the company to eventually get rid of them. They are going to be incentive. They are going to get an incentive of $2,000 to make a choice and leave. Now, this shows that the employer in this case is largely focusing on getting the right people on board. And if they find that there has been a hiring which is not right for the company, they'll pay them to leave. So no problem over there. All right. I hope this gives you some clarity on the topic. All right. So let us start with the brief introduction of employer branding. Now, usually my slides are white in background, but today I wanted to share blue color with all of you. So I hope that you like it. I mean, when I was making these slides, I just wanted to try something new. So I thought, why not use blue as a background? So there is some concept known as employee value proposition, and we will be talking about this in detail in the later slides. But what does this mean? I mean, from the customer perspective, we already know that a customer who ends up buying a certain product or a service, he or she finds some value in it. I mean, you are able to choose this university to pursue your degree, so you have been able to find some value proposition in making this choice. Same goes for everything, the clothes that you buy or the food that you eat or anything that you buy from the market. There is some value proposition that appeals to you. So in terms of employer branding, the companies, they work on aspects which offer value proposition to the employees. And there is a like a huge and a very dynamic kind of perspective to it. We will be getting to this topic in slide number 4 or 5. So let us hold up till then. What another factor is important in terms of employer branding? Companies with strong cultures and strong set of core values, they serve as an example of companies which are focusing on the employer branding, because most organizations, they don't have any idea what kind of a culture they need to follow, and they just like allow people to form or shape their own cultures. They focus more on the technical side of things, like the organizational structure, the reporting structure, the departmentalization, or focusing on distribution of the work, but less focus is on developing a culture that is somehow contributing towards the overall organizational vision and mission. Because always remember that the purpose of forming an organizational culture is to convert it into a core competency and later on into a competitive advantage for the organization. Good organizations, exemplary organizations, they work a lot on building the set of core values. For example, let me share an example of Zappos as well, once again, because Zappos is like one of my favorite companies as well. And since we are talking about it, so I'm able to generate examples in my mind. Now, Zappos has 10 set of core values that it wants all of its employees to follow. All right. You can always look it up on the internet and you will find so much wonderful content regarding this company. Now, one of the core values that they follow is that they say that whatever you do, create a wow factor. I mean, I've already talked about it previously, and I remember Dr. Welkin saying wow as well. So, wow is something that creates a very positive kind of an image, a very overwhelming kind of an experience. So, they want that to be a part of their culture. Like everybody in the organization should be focusing on creating a wow factor within the organization so that everyone feels that there is something special going on. Now, these aspects of organizational culture and set of core values, they determine or shape up the logic of employer branding. I mean, if a company wants to present itself as an organization where people are encouraged to speak, where they can share their ideas, where there is a decentralized environment. You know, when you go through social media, when you go through YouTube videos of Zappos, you will see the CEO hanging around people. He doesn't have his own office. He just goes and sits with other people, other employees. And it shows that the company is following a very decentralized kind of a structure. So what are they trying to do? They are trying to create an image. They are trying to create a brand. Now, what does that brand focus on? It focuses on decentralization. It focuses on a flatter structure. It says that we do not follow hierarchy. We are not highly systematic. We are more decentralized. So just to give you an example, that companies who want to emphasize on their employer branding, they do work a lot on their company culture and values. Another important thing is that it helps them build a reputation in the job market, like one of the dear students mentioned earlier, that you would want to go in an organization that has a very good reputation. Now, what do we understand by reputation? Obviously, the companies which have been there for a longer period of time and which offer a sound career track with very good salary, with uh, all the perks and benefits that one can enjoy, and which offers a working environment, a situation, a condition in which the employees can prosper, they can grow, they can learn. I mean, all these kind of things that a company will be pursuing, it helps them to build a very good reputation in the job market. And this information floats like anything. I mean, they don't need to advertise. They don't need to like do some really something special to make sure that people get to know about the organization. Everyone in the job market gets to know it, because it's pretty common that organization within the same industries, they tend to interact with each other on a frequent basis, so through symposiums, through, I mean, other seminars and other activities that go on, and they get to know about each other frequently. I mean, there is social media, there is information available online as well, but companies, they do share their information, that what they are doing and how they are doing it. So it helps to build the reputation in the job market. It can go the other way around as well. I mean, for example, if a company is very strict in terms of its policies, and it's like frequently hiring and firing people just because of disciplinary issues or other concerns, so that builds a different kind of a reputation for that organization. Obviously, not a very positive one, but this reputation precedes the organization when it comes to hiring the top talent. One of the major targets, one of the major goals of all the best companies in the world is to reach out to the best employees within the job market, so that they are able to apply for the positions, and so that the organization gets their hand on them and offer them something to look forward to. Creating a workplace people love to join and stay. I mean, this is a statement from the organization LinkedIn. Probably you all would be knowing about it. If you don't know about it, I can share the link. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I hope that you know. But I would suggest that all of you should be on LinkedIn, uh, because it's a very wonderful professional networking website. Uh, Not only a website, but it offers free courses. It offers an opportunity to learn and grow. If you are still not on LinkedIn, I would suggest that you do join it. And you can always find me on LinkedIn as well. You can connect with me. I mean, it's completely free, and we can always get to learn from each other. So, what does LinkedIn say? That creating a workplace people love to join and stay. Just like Dr. Welkin mentioned in the start, that it is all about finding a right match for the position. So, people would want to continue working in the organization, which can lead to employee engagement. And by employee engagement, we mean that people, employees within the organization, they are willing to work on their own happily. They don't need external reinforcement. Yeah, they don't need uh, any kind of I mean, organizational or external push. They are able to do things on their own. So that is why we call it employee engagement. All right. If you have any question or comment, I would love to hear it. Okay. So what is the value of that? 79% of job seekers consider a company's reputation before applying. This is a very interesting fact that, I mean, by 79%, we do understand that almost all the job seekers would want, I mean, like 80% is like almost all. So they would want to join an organization where their careers are secure, where their job offers them all the wonderful benefits that they can possibly imagine, and the work is really wonderful, great, and it offers an opportunity to grow, because the reputation, it does matter. So it means that it is becoming really critically important for organizations to not only work in terms of growing their sales, not only promote their products and services, but to focus on building their image as an employer as well. Attracting top talent reduces hiring cost as well. I mean, it is pretty obvious, but this is one of the core things. Since we are talking about an area of human resource management, so staffing or recruitment or selection is one of the core functions of HRM. It's not just about identifying the position and building a very interesting ad so people they just start applying and you just start filling out your positions. It is more about uh, developing a strategy, a target through which you are able to reach out to the people who are the right people for the right job. And by spending a lot of money on that process, you are able to find somebody, you're able to find people who are going to stay within the organization for a longer period of time so that you don't have to repeat this process over and over again. Because you want somebody to be on board, the employee, and you would want them to immediately start being productive, start sharing their expertise, and you would want them to feel comfortable and stick with the organization. Because if they leave you in between, then you will have to go through the staffing process all over again. You would want to reach out to new employees, you would want to like start the whole process all over again. So hiring costs is one of the major factors that the organization needs to consider. I mean, it's such a costly and technical procedure that most of the organizations they outsource it. You know, most of the organizations they do not spend their resources and money on finding the right person for the right job. They use the uh, services of third parties, for example, headhunters, uh, or other recruitment agencies that serve as companies who are going to find the right talent for you. Because this in itself is a huge activity with a very high, I mean, if your HR department is completely consumed in executing the recruitment and selection activity, I mean, what else would it be doing? This makes a, a lot of challenge for them. As I've already mentioned about employee engagement, so uh, the context of employer branding obviously is to make sure that the employees they stick within the organization. Now, one misperception about this is that organizations can create some legal loopholes through the which the employees would be bound to stay, because it doesn't happen like it. You would want to create an environment, you would want to have a kind of a organizational system going on that people would want to stick with you and would want to willingly work for you. This willingness factor is very important because this leads to engagement. You cannot like force people or bound them to think about, you can't just really bound people to start working, because obviously no organization can find a way to keep a check on the employees 24/7. I mean, not 24/7, but like 8 hours a day. I mean, which is like the ideal working hour limit for anyone. So no organization can make sure that what are you doing on your computer. I mean, if the organization goes on that track that every employee has a surveillance over him or her, that what are they doing on their computer, how much time do they spend in the lunch break, or what are they doing in this and what are they doing in that. So I mean, the employees will feel suffocated, choked, and they would like feel that if they are being productive, it is because the organization is putting pressure on them. But in good organizations, the focus is on creating an environment which leads to employee engagement and where they start working on their own. And building of this positive reputation is not important only for the potential employees which are going to come. It's really important for all the stakeholders. I mean, considering the suppliers, the clients, partners, and for general public as well. Uh, in our next topic, in coming days, we will be talking about CSR, Corporate social responsibility, I mean, which shows the softer side of an organization where they are trying to promote themselves not as a money making machine or a business, a cutthroat business entity. They are presenting themselves as a socially responsible organization that people would want to associate with. Can you think of an example where you bought us? This is my question to all of you, because I'll be taking a 10 seconds break. I'll be giving my throat a 10 seconds break. Uh, this is my question to you. Think about a product that you recently bought and you thought that you are making this world a better place by buying this product. I mean, you are paying some money, there is a transaction going on, but in your mind, it was clear that you are actually contributing to the society, you're actually contributing to the planet, to the environment as well. Can you think of any such product? I would love to hear your responses. Go on, please use the chat box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is News Professor Hassan that you might have contribution of yours to the better world of your community. So the chat box is now open.
I am getting some direct messages. So some people are appreciating the topic and the discussion. Okay, thank you so much. One of the students said that buying water is something that did to make this planet better. I hope this water was not in a plastic bottle, because in that way, in that way, I mean, the world is not becoming a better place if you're using plastic anyhow. So recycling bag, okay. Think about any product that you bought recently where a company claims that they are selling it. I mean, they are selling the product and they are making profit of it. But if you buy that, you are making this world a better place also. Uh, this, I mean, when you think about it, you will find that the companies, they want to present their image as an entity, as something which is trying to make a good mark. Okay, buying meat from small businesses, people. All right, that is very good. I mean, that is social responsibility, CSR from your side. Thank you so much for sharing this example. Okay. So what are the elements of a strong employer brand? Let us go through the example of Microsoft. Microsoft is considered as an organization that has worked very well on the employer branding, and it is known for its commitment to diversity and inclusion. Oh my God. I really love this topic. Diversity and inclusion is something that serves as core values for the leading organizations in the world, which attract talent from all over the world. We are not talking about a specific geographic region. We are talking about people coming and working from all over the world. Companies like Microsoft, like Google, like Airbnb, like Amazon, they attract talent from all over the world. So they need to build a strategy in terms of dealing with diversity and inclusion. Like people with different set of ideas, different mindset coming to same place, working together. It brings challenges, it brings opportunities. So the company would want to make sure that friction is not there and people are like really gelling on with each other really well. Now, this company has built an employer brand around its values, innovation, and employee empowerment. I mean, these keywords, they serve as a sense of direction for the organization. They would want all their stakeholders to remember these keywords, that they believe in core values, they believe in innovation, and they believe in employee empowerment. The company would want to present an image of itself that it is showing that what we believe in, we are going to stick to that, and there will be no compromise on that. I'm talking about the values. And since it is a tech company, so they need to be associated with things related to innovation. So they believe that innovation is one of their top traits or top core values or top factor of employer branding because they believe in it. And employee empowerment means allow, allowing people to take decisions on their own and feeling more empowered. Now, employee value proposition of a strong employer brand would be to have clear and compelling employee benefits and opportunities. Just like Dr. Valkin mentioned that he would want to have some real good salary coming his way. And let us all pray that this thing happens for him. Like three times of his salary coming his way. I mean, good luck with that, Dr. Valkin. All prayers for you and for us as well. All right. So, an organization having this is very important clear and compelling employee benefits. This means that there is complete transparency, like everybody knows that what are the criterias of getting those benefits, how we can make use of those opportunities, and how we can excel within the organization. That is one important aspect that the organization needs to show. How much the organization believes in its mission, vision, and values. This is also very important in terms of the strength of employer branding because the company would want to present a clear image. Just like in the example of Microsoft, they are focusing on the keywords. The keywords are diversity and inclusion, values, innovation, employee empowerment. I mean, these are four different managerial terms that define the whole organization. We can call them core values as well. We can call them the foundation of their organizational culture. I mean, whatever name we want to give it to them, but it clearly shows that these factors they serve as a sense of direction for the organization, and all stakeholders would be knowing that. Now, Microsoft cannot go for a strict hierarchy for centralized decision making because it believes in employee empowerment. So it is important to understand that it's not about creating wonderful statements only. Most companies they end up making really fancy mission and vision statements, but actually they're not living out those statements. They are just there in their annual reports. They are just printed there in their offices. And when it comes to actual practice, they are doing all the things which should not be done. So it is really important to maintain an employer brand that the companies they carry on following the things which they believe in. Similarly, I've already talked about that inclusivity, growth, and innovation. Since this is an era where technology is taking new shapes, so it is really important for all organizations to focus on being more creative and being more innovative. Now, the inclusivity and growth factor within organization, they believe in diversity, they believe in offering career tracks, and like giving the incentives to the employees so that they would want to work in those organizations. All companies they carry some kind of a legacy, employee stories, success stories, authentic testimonials. I mean, something to look up to. Like employees, they have stories to tell. When they go on social media, when they go to their families, when they go back homes, they tell stories about their employers. I believe that all family members know that what kind of a company my family member is working in, because we do talk about our work usually at home. So next time you do it, ask yourself that what are you talking about? Are you sharing the positives of your workplace, or are you like sharing the toxic environment or organizational politics or things that your organization needs to work on? Because this will show that what kind of employer branding your organization has. Thank you, Zakria, for that wonderful line on the screen. I know it was a mistake, so don't worry. Okay, so there are certain EVP categories. I mean, employee value proposition. Let us quickly go through them one by one. There are different contexts to it. We have been talking about EVP a lot today. So as per Gartner, let's see that what categories are there. One is the organizational category, which shows the market position, quality, size, social responsibility, customer prestige, empowerment, and so on. Like employees, they look forward to these things when they are to join an organization. They value these things. In an organization, they would want to look for an organization that genuinely promotes diversity, that is ethical, that focuses on the quality and reputation of work. Similarly, when it comes to reward, like once again, for the fourth time mentioning Dr. Melkin, like he said, that compensation is something. I mean, every employee wants to be compensated fairly according to the market. I mean, and the more the merrier. You would never be filled up with any amount. You would want to have more. Health benefits is something that in developed countries, the companies they offer health insurance for the people because and not only for the employees but for their family members. Similarly, then there are retirement benefits, annual leaves, and certain reward structures. So, as a potential employee, people would want to focus on things which offer them something to look up to. Similarly, as far as the organizational culture is concerned, where when we are talking about people, you would want to have a collaborative culture where the co-workers are really supportive with each other. The senior leadership is highly expert, talented, and they are willing to share their talent with the new people. I've seen that in most companies, there is a lot of power distance. I mean, when somebody new joins an organization, it takes them a while to get to know the CEO or the top management. I just wonder that isn't that the purpose of being in an organization, that you have access or reach to the top management so that they are able to guide you, mentor you, and tell you how things should be done? I mean, what is the point, honestly, of being very distant from the top management and from the decision makers? Doesn't make sense. So similarly, when it comes to opportunity, this is one thing that I would look forward to. I mean, if I want to join any organization in future, this would be one top criteria for me, that I would want that organization to offer me further opportunity to grow as an individual, as a professional, providing me with the resources to work on my skill set, because that is going to lead towards me competing for better positions. Meritocracy will be there, like I would be getting myself promoted based on some merit. Um, that is one thing that I would look forward to as an employee, as a future employee. Then there is the work. I mean, the type of work that is being done in an organization is another motivator for the people to join. Like if the job involves a lot of traveling and it has like so many perks and benefits aligned with it, and there is work-life balance, and it's like a very chill kind of an environment. Like Google claims that our environment is very friendly, is very non-toxic, it's very collaborative. All these words they show, I mean, it's like an ideal environment, I would say. So, because it's ideal for any employee to work in and to grow and to find themselves doing something really productive. So, this was all about EVP. All right. So, building an effective employer branding strategy. Let me have a look at the chat box. What is happening? All right. Okay. Building an effective employer branding strategy. How can we do that? It all starts with EVP. The organization would want to determine that what is their employee value proposition. What are they going to offer to the employees that no one else can? This is something very critical, very important. I mean, no doubt about it that the organization should be the company should be very clear in their minds that what are they going to offer to the employees when they are asking them to come on board. I mean, we're talking about the top talent. So what do they have? It's about clarity and having uniqueness. They can't say, like in the previous slide, no company can claim that we offer all these things because it will be a lie, obviously. So the managers, the company decision makers, they need to determine that what areas would we want to focus on. Based on the SWOT analysis that they do, their own strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat analysis, they would want to make sure that they realize where the company stands and what can they actually offer to the organization. Defining and communicating a unique employee value proposition, focusing and highlighting the workplace culture and employee experiences. That is obviously very important. Engaging in open and transparent communication. I mean, I believe this is one of the main things of any organization that wants to present itself as a very progressive and productive organization. Because if you don't have an open environment, and you don't involve the other employees in regular communication where they can share their concerns, where they can share their ideas, and where the organization can grow collaboratively, then you're not making full use of your talent. I mean, it's like purposeless. Most companies are what they are doing right now. They are using social media, websites, and other forms of media as well to showcase their company life. I mean, this is something I find very interesting because the companies that I will be showing in the next slide, when you look at them on the internet, you will find their own YouTube channels, you will find their own LinkedIn pages, and it'll be bombarded with the content that they are trying to share. Let me tell you something regarding Pakistan. I mean, Pakistan, where I am, we have worked a lot over the last 10 years, 15 years to encourage and promote women empowerment, and we believe that they should be working uh, in professional roles. I mean, previously they were largely doctors or teachers, but now it is encouraged that they come in the corporate world as well. So there are many companies like PTCL. PTCL means Pakistan Telecommunication Limited Organization. It has a program for females where it only inducts females in their organization. And that program has different categories. One of the categories is that it announces a position once a year for females who have been out of jobs because of their family responsibilities, because they had a baby and they were on a leave. So they want to give opportunity to those females who were on a family break for like 2 3 years. They want to consider them for that particular position. Now, what does it show? It shows that the organization has a logic or a mindset of inclusivity. They want to include people in, all right, and mm, they want to present themselves. I mean, where did I get this information? I saw that on their LinkedIn page. So when I saw that on the social media of that organization, I was very impressed. I thought that PTCL is doing something really wonderful because they are reaching. Now, just one action creates a huge positive impact in the market, and people would be thinking the employees who want to work for that organization in future would be wondering and thinking that this is the right place to go because they are they are really giving opportunities. So the companies, there are a lot of companies like Google, like Airbnb, like Zappos, Microsoft. They have a lot of content material present on the social media. I would request the students not to draw lines on the screen because it is distracting me. So please don't do that. I mean, in your spare time, you can use tools like Paint, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, even or Canva to do all your drawing skills. I mean, this is not the right time, please. So the companies, they use social media as a tool to promote their employer branding. And wherever you are right now, you can go to their company, not only their websites, but as I mentioned, on their LinkedIn pages, on their YouTube pages, and you can find so much content that they are sharing, that how we are actually doing work, how is our culture, what does our CEO have to say about the work environment, what does our manager has to say, what do the internees even say about the organization. This is all part of employer branding. Now, these companies, they focus a lot on employee feedback. Employee feedback is really critical and vital for them because without that, they won't be able to create a brand. I mean, it's all about the employees at the end of the day. So, what the employees are sharing, you really need to listen. Uh, since we are talking about Airbnb, let us have a quick look at the example. With a mission of belong anywhere, Airbnb is a rental company that works all over the world. I mean, probably you know that already, but let me tell you that you can download an app, you can get your place registered, and if somebody is traveling, they can actually book your space. They can come and live there for 2 or 3 days, and they can pay you up. The Airbnb will draw a commission, and this is how it works. So, a very wonderful idea, to be honest. I mean, although in COVID, they found it really difficult to survive, but Airbnb's strong employer branding draws employees with who resonate with its culture of inclusion and community building. Um, Employer branding focuses on culture of inclusion and community building. I mean, they believe in people coming together, working together, growing together. This brand promise aligns with what employees experience internally and with their work culture externally. I mean, this is something really wonderful that Airbnb focuses a lot in terms of its employer branding. I mean, I have mentioned about the role of social media, but let us quickly have a look at that. That how can they use it? I mean, by being present excessively on LinkedIn and on other forums, the company can extend its reach to wider talent pool. They can reach out to employees and people all over the world. It can provide real-time authentic glimpses of company culture. I mean, you can showcase the wonderful things about you on the mediums where people are actually watching you. This helps you build your employer branding. The forums like LinkedIn, you may have heard about Instagram and Twitter or X, but Glassdoor is another important website which shares the reviews of employees which work in an organization regarding how the organization is working. Let us have a look at the chat box. All right, Helena has shared that Airbnb is not recognized in Namibia because it is not registered with Namibia Tourism Board. Thus, other hotels and guest houses are again the concept of. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. This means, Helena, that you have been listening to what I'm saying. And I find it very wonderful that you have been able to come up with a response. This is something that now I know as well. I mean, Airbnb is struggling a bit in Pakistan as well because of the security concerns and everything. But really wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I found this comment really interesting. So, who are the success stories when it comes to employer branding? Their success is going to be dependent on when I take their names. If you know about them, this means they have been successful. ठीक है? HubSpot, Netflix, Zappos. Oh, thank God Zappos is there. Salesforce, Adobe, Microsoft, Airbnb, BCG, Spotify, Google. You can ask yourself that how many names do you know about? And if you're a business student, if you have been studying business for some time now, you would be knowing about all of these companies. I mean, at least like 7 or 8 of these companies, because this is going to tell you that these are the companies which are considered as best practices, as companies which are doing best practice in terms of offering something valuable in the market, not only to the customers, but to the future prospects of employees as well. All right. So there are different talent. Yeah. So there, I'm just about to go to the conclusion. Thank you so much, Dr. Valkin, for the heads up. So there are certain talent acquisition strategies. I mean, such an interesting picture, you know. I mean, there are all gray people, and then there is the blue one. The blue one is the right person for the right job. I hope this is you and me. So the company focuses on targeted recruitment marketing. I mean, this is something really interesting because they would want to reach out to the right person from the whole crowd of applicants. They would want to reach out to the right person. And they focus on employee referrals because employees always refer those people who they believe are going to be a suitable fit for their organization. I mean, I hope you got my point. That if I'm working in an organization and if I refer somebody, obviously I cannot refer my brother or my sister or my son. I would be referring somebody who I think will be a suitable fit for the organization. So this becomes a part of talent acquisition through employer branding. We need to focus on diversity when it comes to hiring practices and continuous engagement. Since we are running short on time, so I would be winding up very quickly, just a couple of slides to go, I guess. So measuring employer branding success, how do you measure it? If you are able to retain employees, if they're not running away, if they are there with you for the longer period of time, this means you're successful in retaining them. The important thing is that having an option, if the employees have an option and still they want to stick with you. I mean, you're doing great. Similarly, there are some metrics that you can follow. There is a talent acquisition metrics. You can look it up on the internet. There is brand awareness metrics. You can have a look. And then there are employee satisfaction surveys. Good companies would always want to keep a check, an eye on what the employees are actually thinking. Now, at the end, as part of the conclusion of the presentation, a strong employer brand isn't just a recruiting tool, it is a competitive advantage. Just like I mentioned in the start, if you have a wonderful, wonderful brand, this means you are building your own competitive advantage. Companies like Google, HubSpot, Unilever have proven that investing in employer branding leads to higher engagement. People work on their own, reduce turnover. People, they don't leave the organization. You don't incur extra hiring costs, and the ability to attract top talent aligned with the company's mission and values. By building an authentic brand, companies create a workplace that people aspire to join and stay.